Well, hello, and hello again. Welcome to, what am I calling it? Home Time Bants, episode, I think, 4. I thought I'd do a sitting down one next to some plants and some miniatures and a candle that smells real nice. And yesterday was my first day working from home. Currently I'm just training, so I just self-study, and then we have like, what are they called? Digital modules where our trainer takes us through what we're learning. And it's funny to me that social awkwardness extends even onto the internet. Like, a lot of internet isn't awkward because people are like, oh, I'm behind a keyboard so I can say whatever I want. But this is like, we're all on webcam, we've all got microphones, and it's very like standoffish. Even though like 2/3 of us have trained before together, it's just interesting to me that there's still this almost awkwardness of you study something and then the trainer asks you a question that all of you should have read, but no one's like the first to put up their hand because it's like, oh, maybe I'll get it wrong. Well, this is speaking on my behalf. I'm just like, I think I know the answer, but I don't want to like look like an idiot. So it's so interesting to me, social like, not awkwardnesses, there's a better word for it, but even on a digital module when we've got the answers in front of us. And I never think of just looking for the answers. It's more like, oh, someone else can answer it this time. And then yesterday was interesting because we had breaks, and because I would read pretty quickly, I would get through the self-study pretty quick. And so I could just drink as much tea as I wanted, and I could eat all these snacks, and Camilla came home early because her surgeries were cancelled. And so she brought cake in at one stage, and then we had tacos. It was so good. Well, not tacos, tortillas. But what's the difference? I wonder if we've named these plants. Probably not. I like naming things. Do you like naming things? This is my cast from my recent elbow break. And I actually broke the cast. It's not supposed to move like this. Don't know when that happened. But it's so funny how it's just like bandages that they harden with whatever, that they form so that I couldn't move my wrist like this, and like the natural shape of your elbow is like this. People are so smart. Also, I have another prop over here. This is, oh, I probably broke that again. This is my favourite sheet that I've ever owned in my life, and it's so colourful and so positive. It's so happy. And I got it once, I think the first time I moved back to Sweden. My mum was worried that I didn't have any sheets, so she took me to this shop to buy me new sheets, and we found this one, and I was like, you should definitely get me this one. And then we saw an aisle that were like, maybe it was jumpers or coats, and there was like a cape, like a lady's cape, I think, it was in the ladies section, but I suppose men could wear that. And I was like, hey mum, you should get a cape. And she said, and this is one of my favourite quotes my mum has ever said, oh, I've already had my time with capes. And I was like, what? Were you secretly a superhero back in the day, mum? Wearing capes all the time? Then I thought I'd bring I love maps. When I used to live in Newcastle, my room was covered in maps. I just loved them. And I still have some of them here. And I was looking at my maps, and I don't actually have a map of Australia. But I just wanted to show people where on the map I live, both Australia and Lithuania. So this is the map of Australia I found. Focus, focus. And this, near here where my index finger is where Sydney is. And my family and I grew up just inland in Canberra. There's no dots on this map. Oh well. So southeast, but not on the coast. Then my mum's from Perth, which is on the opposite side. And then where all the scary snakes and bigger spiders are all in the north. And then flip over. Oh no, it's in this one, right? So this is North Europe. It's been redesigned. And just here, under Latvia and north of Poland, and on the Baltic Sea, which is here, is Lithuania. And that's where I live, and I live almost exactly the same point as I grew up in Australia. It's in the southeast, but not on the coast or the border. That's where I live. Good times. Good times. I love maps. Maybe I should look at maps more. I just put them in the bookshelf. I was going to talk about one other thing and I've forgotten what it was. Who knows? Oh, yesterday I heard that one of my friends, my first friend to get coronavirus, reported that he got coronavirus, and he's super chill about it. Like, he's just quarantined himself, and it's not comfortable, but it's not like he feels like he wants to die. And I went for a run this morning to play Ingress, which is this game kind of like Pokemon Go, same company but different rules. It's kind of like chess. And my plan was, because my house is next to a portal that you engage with, and then you have to link them all over town. So I should be able to link this portal with like 15 portals around this block. And so that was my thing. I was like, I'll put the paper recycling out, I'll destroy all these other portals, and then just link. And it's like chess in that you can have this strategy and be moving towards that strategy and then just make one wrong move and that's like stuffed you up for the whole game. And so I accidentally linked a portal just over here to a portal in the old town, and so that just ruined my whole strategy, and so I was like so defeated. And then I was supposed to go to Maxima, which is this local supermarket just over the road, to get this new tea that my friend told me about. It's funny how quickly I jump onto wanting things. But he talked about a milk oolong, and I was like, what? I think I've had one of those before, but I definitely want one now. So I looked it up on the internet straight away, and there's this tea shop in the Maxima complex that sells it. So I was like, I'll put the paper recycling out, then I'll go for this big long walk in Ingress and do all this awesome stuff, and then I'll go to Maxima and get tea and a few other things that we needed that I've forgotten. Oh, those little things for dishwashing machines. And I got to the Maxima door and it said we open at 9, and this was at like 7:30, and I was like, oh, that sucks, because it's usually 24 hours. And then there were these 2 security guards there, and the doors open, like the automatic doors open, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll just go in. And then you could see on their faces, they were like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to come in yet. And they didn't say anything, but even if they had said, I probably wouldn't understand. And so then he like fixes the automatic door so that it's locked, but I was still inside, and so I gave him this look like, like, can I go in then? And he was like, gave me a look as if to say, get out. And so then I waited till he'd figured out the door to open it, and then I went, and I was like, wow, this walk was only successful because I put out the paper recycling. Worst. So then I came home and played more Dark Savant, and then I was going to do some language homework, but didn't get around to it. And I'm not good at changing my timing in my head. So I have had 5 days off, so I can just do anything with my days, and now I'm starting at 10, and it's like, it's already 9 o'clock. I haven't done anything this morning. So sad. And then I asked a friend, what should I talk about today? And he said, talk about how people in your country are responding to all this stuff. Because, like, one of my managers at work is an American, and he's like, oh, if it comes to it, I'll just take my son and go out camping in the bush and get away from people. And I was like, that's one response. And then Australia has been like, all right, no one gather in more than 500 people, and we're not going to close the schools because children can't get the disease. And you're like, what? 500 people, that's ridiculous. Like, even Vilnius has gotten it down to like all people, like just get away from people. And they close down the schools so quickly because maybe children don't feel it, but they'll spread it. And so you have the children, and that's what one of these news podcasts I was listening to, they're like, if the children get it and the parents are working, then who's going to take care of the children? The grandparents, and the grandparents are the ones that are going to die. And so if you think your child doesn't have it, it probably does, or it could, and especially in Australia if you keep the schools open. So I think Australia is moving to close the schools, and maybe they'll go on lockdown. But it's just interesting, because I've been working with Booking.com, and we've been, for like 2 or 3 weeks, it's just been cancel everything, people freaking out. And then as soon as Trump came out with his travel ban, that freaked America out. So then all of our calls were American, Spanish, Italian, just like cancelling everything. And so then Lithuania was pretty quick with like, oh yeah, everyone should move home to work and no one should gather. And because Booking.com is like a Europe-wide and then a worldwide company, we were asked if we could work from home like a week and a half before we were actually moved. And then watching Australia from afar just be like, she'll be right, champ. Like, let's just chill out and the sun will solve it. And you're like, the sun won't solve it. That's different to what's happening. Ugh. And then you read all of these dystopian books. And it's pretty much they knew beforehand. And then there's a series on Netflix, Netflix Explained. I haven't watched it, but Camilla was watching it, about what the next epidemic's going to be like. And they pretty much just nailed it. They pretty much just called coronavirus before it even happened. Oh. So that's my reaction, Bo. That's how we, the country I currently live in, is responding to it quite well, I think. Although then this morning Camilla said that some people are still playing basketball with each other. So, but the international church that I've been a part of for a while, the pastor there was like, because we're less than 50 people usually, we'll keep meeting unless the Lithuanian church stops, because we meet in a Lithuanian building. And then, like, 3 hours later, he was like, actually, we're not meeting. Like, I think the government would look down at that. And so, even churches here are shutting down and going online. Whereas you watch Scott Morrison, who's the Prime Minister of Australia, he goes to quite a large church. And he's like, yeah, I've got to go watch the footy and then I'll go to church. And then a week later, he clicked, oh, no, actually, church is going to change too. You're just like... And I've seen all of these memes. I saw a meme yesterday that was like, offices is closed, supermarkets are empty, something else was empty that's usually full of people, but churches are still alive and kicking. And then you watch what happened in South Korea. That's a lot of the spread, was like churches would just explode this. Sometimes church is just mental, but sometimes comforting. And gives a sense of belonging, which is beautiful. So that could be it. I'm wearing a shirt that I don't wear much because it looks like I'm a country music star. And this suit jacket that I found in Sweden at a wedding that I was going to. And it's like a Trump. It's too long apparently, so I need to like get it up a little bit. And then I'll be almost perfect. Because most suits for me are really wide, whereas this is long somehow. Oh well, so that's an explanation of my fashion choices. And then soon it'll be cap wearing weather again, which I've missed. Although now I'm more comfortable with my hairline, so maybe I won't wear them as much. Anyway, I have to go to work. Good to see you, Bumblebee Tuners.